Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'm Brother Daniel here again, and I got an article here from the Independent UK. Utter hypocrisy. Government refuses to stop spending billions on fossil fuel projects across the world. So right now we got Boris Johnson is doing backyard deals with oil refineries across the world while claiming to be climate activists or climate, control, but he's just putting on a happy face for you guys while he's making his money. So people expect their political leaders to try to stop, not accelerate the pace of climate breakdown, says 8 MPs. Now this article is written by Chris Baines today, which is Thursday, October 3rd. And reading into this article, the government has been accused of utter hypocrisy after rejecting calls from the MPs to stop spending billions on the overseas fossil fuel projects while claiming to be a leader in the fight against global warming. So, everybody's hypocrisy and the world's eyes have been awoken, and people are seeing that these frauds are just saying one thing on stage and doing another behind closed doors. Parliament's Environmental Audit Committee had warned that Britain is sabotaging its climate credentials by paying out unacceptably high oil and gas subsidies in developing nations. Well, it shouldn't be surprised if Britain, with due to their history of pretty much invading many countries and stealing their resources, and then having an uppity. So the Britain's name is basically going to get stamped on for ever. I don't think they'll ever really come back from this because they just are going strong with what they want to do and think nothing's going to bite back on them. And it's a calamity waiting to happen. And so, brothers and sisters, just keep eye on what happens to Britain because right now they're following suit with Trump. So this is mostly fastest from Britain and America and Australia and wherever else. Moving on. But International Trade Secretary Liz Truss shunned the cross party group's recommendation that investment in fossil fuels projects abroad should end by 2021, saying the move would be too abrupt. So they're thinking about their money and their lining of their pockets, and it trying to make excuses to say it's a waste of time, it's nothing that serious, this, that, and the third. This is just a foot in the mouth for these people. They'll pretty much just be going down. The Most High will handle these brothers, and I won't be shocked when another oil refinery is targeted, whether it's by man or by the Most High. It won't matter. Whether it's blown up or is hit by a hurricane or earthquakes or lightning storms or freak accidents that happen to start fires at these places due to the deteriorating atmospheres and things of that nature. So yeah, this is something that's going to phase out. Get ready for high prices on gas and fuel, and pretty much just going to have a lot of people paying out the pocket a lot for the oil until they run out. And as it starts to run out, more and more people are pretty much phased into renewable engine cars, renewable energy, solar panels, water, windmills, things of that nature. Um, Whether you do it yourself, which it looks like that's what it's going to come down to, that a lot of people are just going to have to really just stop driving and get themselves a solar car or electric car. Um, there has to they got to lower the demand. And with people sleeping, brothers and sisters, you need to sit here and wake up and realize that you're a part of it. When you drive your car, when you pay your find another way. When people really start putting initiative into changing their energy source, their transportation sources, and things of that nature, and then demand starts to lower down, and then demand heightens for electric cars and electric motorcycles and things of that nature, you won't see change from these people. They're pretty much told you we're going to stay with the oil because that's what's gotten them rich for 300-400 years. Moving on. A report published by the Cross Party Group in June found UK Export Finance, UKEF, a government body that underwrites loans and insurance to help British firms secure business abroad, and spent 2.6 billion euro in last 5 years supporting global energy exports. Of this 2.5 billion went on fossil fuel projects, with the vast majority in low and middle income countries. So they just can't see the back on this. Right now, it's all greed that's driving most of these countries. Those in lower and middle income countries, as they start to get help from other countries with solar panels and renewable energy sources, eventually, like I said, that'll be phased out. But it's sad that we got these children in charge that are leading us like Titanic straight into an iceberg. Moving on, the EAC said the funding was the elephant in the room, undermining the UK's international climate and development targets. It's also warned the project's risks locking developing nations into fossil fuel tendencies for decades to come. Basically, what I said earlier is that you brothers are still used to buying your cars in gas and driving around, that you don't want to let them go. So they're going to play on that part until brothers and sisters wake up and just decide to stop using gas vehicles and get yourself an electric car, using gas vehicles, and ride your bike or use public transportation. These things are going to start phasing in due to climate change. Well, you call it climate change, I call it the Most High. Um, the Most High is going to sit here and target these places where you're going to see where there's a lot of oil fields and oil refineries. They're probably going to get hit with flooding, and the damage is going to be irreparable. And so this is the fall and destruction promised by the Most High, that Esau is going to be the end of the world. So this ain't gonna stop. This is gonna be a fight. They're gonna battle, and I won't be shocked when, the people start seriously targeting oil refineries. It's due to come. Whether it's man or the Most High, or the Most High puts it in man's thought, it's coming. The committee called for UKEF to follow the lead of export credit agencies in other countries, such as Sweden, by capping lending to fossil fuel projects. So basically, they want to keep the dollar down on an amount of what these oil refineries, Exxon, Shells, Mobil's, all these different gas stations and oils, BP, and say you can't trade. We're going to put an amount that you can trade in, and that's it. Just enough to get them to survive, but you don't need any more else. As they start phasing into windmills and solar panels and river water energy and things like that, they'll realize that these sources will support the energy they need, and they don't really need to sell all this oil. So, but you got fascists right now who don't want to admit to it. So it's just basically a hard-headed case of idiots getting a second chance, and the Most High is giving them a chance to phase out before He destroys them. So be prepared to watch. Like I said, watch these oil refineries start getting targeted by either man or the Most High, nature. Moving on, it urged the department to commit funding only to projects that align with the government's target of net zero emissions by 2050. So they urged them to sit here and say they don't want them putting this money to oil and they want them to phase out, but they're just not doing it. They're doing what they want to do. Responding to the committee, the International Trade Secretary insisted Britain was playing a leading role in the transition to a low carbon future, but there remains a need for a mix of energy sources and technology. Once again, bringing back to my point of adding more wind farms and solar panels. And these honestly could be individual things. If we weren't already colonialized, um, you can pretty much just hand solar panels out to every house and home, and every house and home would be able to support its own energy to keep its lights running, to keep everything running that you no longer need to pay for power. These places can automatically put in a personal wind farm, not a farm, but maybe one windmill in the back to supply the energy when the sun isn't up, that you're still using the wind to keep things charged. But solar panels are able to, conduct um, the sunlight, turn the sunlight into energy, and store it. So, like I said, it really is an easy fix. It's just, and the money's there. You got your governments right now that are holding back. So people, brothers and sisters, look for yourselves right now. Get your own solar power generator, personal generator. Um, you can build your own windmill if you really want to get old school with it. Um, these things are available right now. So, in the letter published on Tuesday, Ms. Truss said the government was mindful that the transition to a low carbon economy, both in the UK and overseas, must also be equitable. So, once again, showing that they're still thinking of their money. They only thinking about how much money they can make or gain for turning low carbon, and they don't see the outcome of that because most of these things, low carbon renewable energies, are self sufficient enough that you'll no longer have to pay them, and they don't see that as equitable for themselves to sit here and gain any more dollars or tax dollars or charge you or worried about those things. Brothers and sisters, brothers, you're waking up. If you're waking up, then you gotta learn to sit here and to be independent on your energy, your housing, your food. These things are going to be more marketed and independent and stop manufacturing. They were never meant to be uh, in control of one person. Everybody should be able to grow herbs and remedies and sell them into the medical field or um, support energy. If every house had an energy source, you could share it. Even if you got hit with a hurricane or flash flooding or anything like that, that house that lost the power could at least the house that didn't would still be able to support or help those neighbors. But if you're all on a grid, that grid goes down. That's 1,000 plus people that lose power or water or and these types of things are not self-sustaining for a long period of time. These pipes will eventually, wear down. These, energy wires need to be replaced over years if they're even checked. And if nobody really wants to work for these places, when we're at the point in the civilization that you can now create your own energy, um, go for it. But obviously, the government may get a little upset. They're trying to hold back as long as they can and have no justifiable reason to continue in the direction that they're going. Everything's telling you don't stop. And these guys are just, they got their foot down to the floor. They got the pedal to the floor, and they're just going to drive straight off the cliff. So, continuing on, she wrote, in a developing countries, energy security is central to continued development and poverty alleviation. The UK's oil and gas sector is a significant source of skilled jobs across different regions of the UK and continues to play an essential role in the UK's energy security, even as we transition to low carbon and renewable energy sources. So they're still basically making excuses that this is going to that the gas is still important. It's still it's very important. They're just trying to hold on to it, and that it alleviates poverty. I don't see how that alleviates poverty if everybody's paying astronomical prices for gas and power, energy. It doesn't solve poverty, so that's a lie in itself right there. The poverty alleviation, no, it doesn't, because you still got more homeless on the road, and there's houses open. They don't want to give them out. These houses can be equipped with solar panels, or if you got the room in your yard or something like that, with wind farms or water collections, and these are things that this world does not want at this current moment. Even though most of them are waking up and realizing that that's the only way from this point on, with the erratic behavior of storms and weather anomalies, from hurricanes, flash floods, earthquakes, lightning storms. Right now, kicked up, and the Earth is active. Ain't no place going to be really safe for too long that's not going to get hit by some type of nature disaster. So this is never, it's not solving any poverty problems. They're not fixing anything. People have already been destroyed. Puerto Rico, Haiti, you know what I'm saying? These places have already been destroyed. They've seen the devastation of them. And with the current model of having pipes and wires and connections, these things will be destroyed, and it will knock out a lot of people with power, and there'll be a lot of complaints, a lot of hard-headed. So all these people saying that you cure poverty, no, it'll make poverty worse. And then once people's backs are against the walls, these places will be targeted. Labor MP Mary Krieg, who chairs the committee, said it was unbelievable. The government had rejected our call to end taxpayer money being poured into new higher carbon projects. They just, nose in the air right now. They can't be told nothing. They're going to do what they want. She added, "We call for the government to commit to only back British business export projects that support the UK's climate goals. Their refusal to do so completely undermines the government's commitment to get to net zero emissions by 2050. That ain't happening. 2050. Listen, we're in 2019 now. Within the next 5 years, most of these countries will be underwater. It's happening faster than 2050. They put on these ridiculous, add these estimations of dates that they'll happen before then. They don't have that much time. A lot of these people, and it's going to be first come, first served. The cities that begin to put up solar panels will flourish. Those with a lefty mind and care for the earth will flourish. And of course, you'll have these fastest nutcases running around, probably destroying things, targeting renewable energy sources of these communities. So it'll be a fight. This fight is due and it's coming. People expect their political leaders to try to stop, not accelerate the pace of climate breakdown. Well, yeah, you expect that in a just world, that your political leader is, honest and trustworthy, but that's not the current environment. Um, we don't have political leaders, so it's not gonna happen until you either hang these brothers or sisters and or lock them up. Like something's got to happen. They've got to be put in pockets somewhere. And if you're too afraid to happen, it looks like these guys are just gonna put their foot down and close their eyes and play like this is not happening. And they're just gonna play it until it's the death of them, and that's exactly what's gonna come on them. It's gonna be the death of them, one way, whether it's physically or financially or reputation or all of the above. It's coming down if that's the direction they're going to go in. An environmental campaign group Global Witness said the government's position was one of utter hypocrisy. They're right about that. Senior climate campaigner Adam McKibben added just last week the Prime Minister was in New York for the UN Climate Summit, pledging action while his government at home was committing a funding fossil fuel projects abroad. So this dude being two-faced and in one he's in here in New York with Trump and talking, "Oh, we're doing this for the earth, we're doing that for the earth," while his goons is back in another place making backdoor deals to bigger projects and fuels. So it's just, Esau's ignorance, and they're gonna, their ignorance is gonna run them straight off a bridge. They're just about to jump off a bridge with this. The UK is trying to portray itself as a global climate leader ahead of the UN Climate Summit in Glasgow next year, but this stands violently at odds with reality. So they're fakes and frauds, man. They're just frauds everywhere. This place is, you know, a bunch of hypocrites, full of them. Earlier this year, Ban Ki-moon, the former Secretary General of the UN, called the UKEF's fossil fuel investments deeply concerning and said they were hard to reconcile with the government's commitment to limiting global warming to 1.5 Celsius above pre-industrial levels. So, yeah, once again, they stiff-headed, stiff-heart, and stiff-necked, and they know that this is leading because of their actions. It's leading to a disaster that, whether it's a disaster that comes down on their own personal head, I won't be shocked of it. People are stressed out and they don't want to give up their guns. So yeah, somebody's gonna start shooting and pull the trigger. Somebody, whether it's a man or the Most High, somebody's gonna pull the trigger. There is now a growing consensus that the fossil fuels should not be funded in any way by export finance organizations, he wrote. In April, teenage climate activist Greta Thunberg told MPs the UK active support for new exploitations of fossil fuels was beyond absurd and irresponsible behavior. And this is coming from a child. This is coming from a child. Greta Thunberg is what, 16 years old now? And it's coming from a child who's literally got more sense than these grown men in their parliament. And the same thing goes here in the States. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're led by children. Right? A report by the Committee of Climate Change in May warned UKEF was not aligned with the climate goals and often supports hard carbon investments. The following month, UKEF announced it had agreed to lend 406 million euro to companies working on the expansion of the state-run Barani oil refinery. Another Iraqi oil refinery is about to get a 400 million in dollars in euro to either build a new oil refinery. So they still going strong. And so it's going to come down to you people, brothers and sisters, to phase away from oil as much as you can in your life personally to get these people to stop. The moment they start losing demand, I'm pretty sure that the prices will hike or they'll start begging in pushing out ads and psychological messages to get you to, love this gas, love that gas, do this, do that, just to get you to buy and sell. So, brothers and sisters, got to leave these things alone. It is currently also considering whether to grant funding for gas drilling platforms off the coast of Mozambique, a project advisors have warned could have significant adverse environmental impacts. From my understanding, I believe that location is in Africa, so they want to drill in Africa as they've done more damage to Africa. So these are just demons running around here sucking oil out, cashing in on you taxpayers, and then using those tax dollars to buy more oil refineries. It's a cycle. So, and part of this cycle is all individual to our own actions. I mean, I know some of us can't get rid of our power company or our oil, but we do have a choice in, the car you drive, the type of car and vehicle you use to get back and forth to work. Um, you can now pretty much, you know, phase out or add an additional source of energy onto your home, whether you get a solar power generator, solar panels installed, um, you know, the gas companies, I'm pretty sure, will try to sue, and I'm pretty sure this will be another battle taken in the court of how you choose to, or what energy source you choose to use to power your home and your vehicle. These are personal choices that people, brothers and sisters, need to take into advice because eventually there may not be roads to drive on. These cars may not have the same roads. You can wash away these roads on underwater or earthquakes or, you know, anything. These roads ain't going to be here forever. They'll be changed through demographics, through these climate disasters, whether they like it or not. So if you don't, get along with nature and start, giving using the energy that she's already given you for free, she's gonna, I hate to say it, piss on you seriously, like in your frosted flakes. You're gonna have problems. Water rise, flash floods, earthquakes. It don't, you name it. Pick your poison. So companies have to receive funding from UKEF in recent years, including Turkish construction firm Enka, which was handed 578 million euro in subsidies for its work on the two gas-fired power plants in Iraq. That's two locations, one in Africa and one in Iraq. All in Africa. That's all Africa. They're just sucking resources out of Africa, right? So the company's subsidiary registered in the UK in 2016 without an office, staff, or operations in country was granted the money on the condition that at least 20% of contracts on the projects went to British businesses. Once again, British showing their greed, and we want our cut. Um, they want our cut, and we're gonna do it from somebody else's land. It's just that simple. So, yeah, these changes are gonna happen from the bottom up, not from the top down. Simple as that. So, let's go to scriptures real quick, and pull up what the Most High has to say about this. So we're going to go to Revelations, Revelations 11 and 18. Revelations 11 and 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, in the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear the name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. So these people run around, and he's saying here the nations are going to be angry. Everybody's upset. Everybody's fighting, kingdom against kingdom. Thy wrath has come. He's seen it. He's mad. The Most High is upset. There's a reason why you're getting heat waves, and things of that nature all over the world, burning down things. Some of them are man-made, but some of them are not. The Most High did them. He says, the time of the dead. People are dead, not physically dead, but it's not just physically dead, but also spiritually dead. That they don't care about. They don't have no morals, right? They don't care what's going on. That they should be judged. Most High is going to judge these people. This is why he gets in he's like, now it's time for me to get in the act of the killing. Now I got to start killing some of these people. I got to put them to death. So all these uppity rich people are getting put to death. All these that have done judgments here. And thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets. Saying that all them rich people have been sitting here trying to keep that money from us. And as they pass away, they commit suicide. They, go under ruins or bankruptcies. That money is going to slowly seep back into poor's hands. But it's specifically saying it's going back into the saints, into those that keep the Most High's laws, those that sit here and represent the Most High's holy days and his feast days and keep the law to heart. That money is going to start going into them. And them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. So he's telling you they destroyed the earth, and this is what they do, man. These people are angry. They're feared. They don't even do anything. So they're upset that they're losing power and they don't want to give it up. So let's go to Psalms 2 and 1. Right? Let's start there. So this is Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. Why do the heathen rage? It says, why do the heathen rage, man? Why do they worry? Because they want greed. They want to own everything. They want control. They want to sit here and get their name rep. They're looking for fame and fortune, and basically their contract with the devil is expired. And the people imagine vain things. We constantly imagine all these little things, these technologies, and this, that, and the third that's supposed to save us. And it to the Most High, it don't matter. It's not that serious. But you're worried about you creating fidget spinners and little new games, and you're not taking care of what's serious, and that's climate change. That even the kids can sit here and say, like, look, you're not taking care of the earth. And you over here want to make little toys and gimmicks and things like that for your pleasure. You're still doing these things. It says those things are going to be taken away soon. Right? Verse 2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together. So they sit here and they said, look, man, people like Trump, Boris Johnson, they don't want to sit here and listen to their advisors. They want to do what they want to do, and they want to sit here, and all it is about power, control, and money. That's it. That's why he says they're not going to get the kingdom. There's no grace. If you have no grace, no charity, you're nothing. And he's going to destroy you for it. He said, I'm going to get rid of you. How he destroys you, hey, that's up to the Most High. Whether he physically kills you or he just puts you in some type of tortured lifestyle. He takes everything away from you that you glorified. All the money and the glamour and the glitz and your name out there. You're going to have a bad name after this. Boris Johnson is going to be forgotten. Trump is going to be forgotten. These names will be forgotten. Everybody's going to be like, yo, whatever happened to this guy? Because they're going to be so poor and so humiliated. Right? They take counsel together against Yahweh and against the anointed. So he's out here and says he's trying to go against the law. He's trying to rouse up anger and start wars and tell lies and treasonous and, execution of things that he's hypocritical of himself. when he's honestly asking, they seek death. They simply seek death. They want to push and see how far they can go before somebody pulls the trigger. And that's just what it really comes down to. Anointed saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. So they basically want to cut off all the brown. They want to cut off Jews. They want to cut off Israel. They want to cut off God's children. They want to cut off God's sons and daughters. They want to cut off all those things and say their righteousness isn't right. Our confusion is right. So they basically sit up there tongue tied on TV talking, making no sense. And just like most white folks that I know, they tell jokes that are pointless. They try to be funny. They try to be comical. They try to switch, divert your questions or your thought patterns to other ways by, seductive words and things like that. Oh, it's gonna be great. The way they phrase things, you have to pay attention to that with me dealing with Esau or heathens. It's the way they say things and how they lay it down in a format to make it seem and make the good guy look bad and make the bad guy look good. And they do this vice versa thing going on. So you got to pay attention and listen to these, read in between the lines. Right? Verse 4, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, and Yahweh shall have them in derision. These people don't know what to do. They care about all these glitz and glamours, and they're trying to hold on to it, and it's a folly. It's just a folly. All these people in charge, those 10 heads of the dragons, all these 10 heads of these countries, they're simply chasing after their lust. The same way as Satan, the same way as a lot of our people, chasing after their lust, and it's taking them to the point where they don't know what they want to do. And then the right decisions, they hear it from somebody else they don't want to hear from, and then want to claim it. But they're doing the opposite. So actions speak louder than words. Verse 5, then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in sore displeasure. They're displeased that they're losing power. They're displeased that they're losing authority. They're displeased that people don't trust them. They're displeased about all their actions and justifiable reactions from the public and from the people in their country, outside their country, and trying to lie and twist it and say, no, they're the crazy ones. So this is going on for far too long. They don't have much time with these oil refineries and with these things that are going on that they can hold on to it much longer. The day's coming, and it's been coming since, and everybody can see it. Salakia. But yeah, that's my prediction for this actions, because it ain't just Europe, it ain't just Boris Johnson. This is America and Trump too. He's over here trying to push coal and things like that. So everybody across the world, environmental activism and fight is going to be where it's at, and obviously the Most High is going to be on those that are fighting for the world He created, while those that are still trying to destroy it will slowly phase and, wither away. So with that being said, I'm Brother Daniel. Hope you enjoyed this breakdown of a news article called Utter Hypocrisy of the Government Refuses to Stop Spending Billions on Fossil Fuels Projects. So wake up, brothers and sisters, and come back to the true Most High. So with that being said, Shalom, Yahweh Ba'Shem HaMashiach Yahushua.